Good morning, everybody. I'm Keegan. Welcome back to the channel. The Z's getting some love today. We got a Apex Crossmember, some ZPowerSteering, and it's been a minute since I've given this car any attention. Waiting on parts for the Zuby, and this is a mess. So we'll do an oil change. We're gonna correct this gasket, put some gasket maker on it so it stops leaking from all the corners. We're gonna get rid of this bent crossmember, and we're gonna install some power steering. Slowly but surely, she's gonna be right. Alrighty, we've gone ahead, drained the oil. We're about to drop the pan to redo the gasket. The crossmember, we've done these two bolts. We got the jack holding the motor up. Probably gonna prop it up a little bit more because we're gonna redo these mounts right here with the new crossmember. And did the steering column, which is not a good spot with these LS motors. I'm not sure what headers these guys are using, but there's a little bit of rub action going on. We did these two bolts and kind of popped the column off, so now the entire bottom section of the car can kind of all go at the same time. We're gonna maybe look into cutting a little bit of the inside of this rack. I know there's one other Z that was drifted pretty heavily with the stock rack, no Subaru conversion or anything, so we'll kind of see what his procedure was. I believe it was just cutting the threads at the end of the tie rods and then removing the spacers, but he left the nuts so nothing backed out. We're gonna see. I forgot to get boots, so we'll probably end up reusing the same ones. They're pretty not in good shape, but we're just gonna keep on chugging. Just a little update on the steering rack. We're just gonna be cutting these spacers right out, and that'll give us a bit more angle. All right, we got this cross member assembled, and you can see it's kind of similar to the one over there. The only difference is this is kind of one piece. There's two guide bolts right there, and there's much more adjustment on the motor mount itself, whether you have to go forward and back versus the one we made. That's only got the one bolt, so there's a little bit of a rattle, and then kind of your hard mounted based on those couple motor mounts. But it's about to go in and then put some oil in it and see where she's at. All right guys, it's been a day sadly, but we did get the crossmember installed yesterday, and I ended up helping Zach with his exhaust today, so we did that in the morning. Finally got some shade to work in. Not that it matters, but we finally get to enjoy some of that. Yesterday I had some help actually getting the old steering column piece out already, so we got to end up connecting right there to here with all the new goodies. Did wedge a flathead in here so we could break off this NRG quick release hub right off this column. We're going to continue to just go ahead and do, there's going to be 4 bolts, 2 up top, 2 down low on the bottom of the column to the firewall, and then there's going to be 2 bolts right here, and that should be all we need to take the column out. All right, so once you've got the plate and the firewall, there's going to be this male end. It's a skinnier one of the two, so this is a much beefier one. This actually connects to the steering column. You're going to get your old rack, and because you're not using the biscuit bushing, is what we'll call it, you're going to end up taking off this end. So, you know, remove the bolt. I put a kind of a flathead in it, just kind of hit it out, slid it out, put it in here. I ended up putting this Allen key all the way down onto the flat spot where that nut originally was, so that way I know for a fact it's held in. And you know, we've got that side in, so we're gonna go kind of put this in and then slide it through the firewall and then start installing the column. But we're gonna do these just, you know, loose to make sure we can mock up the rest, but that's really the majority of it. A little bit of a fight. I know I need boots here. I'm not really done with the rack yet. However, this is kind of the real only fighting you'll have to do, is kind of starting this kind of safety nut and getting the alignment going. What I used was again the chisel to open it up, hit it with the hammer right on top of the U-joints, and then got it started, and then I was actually able to continue sliding it. And to finish, you know, kind of what it looks like, it's real easy to be able to push this right on through. So that's so much more room I have to work with versus when you have that bushing kind of spacing you out. I think like an inch, maybe an inch and a half. Finally got her in. Definitely had to do a little bit of love on that the main column bolt, the one that was provided with the kit. Kind of how they do swap service, so you send them back your core charge and everything. but had to readjust some of those threads. That took a little bit, but pretty happy with how kind of we indexed this away from all the wiring going on up there. It feels real good. I took out the spacers for the steering rack earlier, so I mean we got a lot more angle versus what was there before, but sadly I feel like I'm gonna have to wire this car tomorrow. Gonna have to give the good old Grand Cherokee oil change, but definitely a lot more angle versus what we had to begin with. And if I really need more than that, then I'll shorten the hub knuckles, and if I still need more than that, then I'll end up cutting those threads off the tie rod ends. With all three of those things combined, I believe there's one other fellow who got about 40 degrees of angle between the steering rack spacers, cutting down the hubs, and then also cutting down those inner tie rod ends. But we will see tomorrow. I'm gonna hook up the 2 wires for the kit, and everything should be good to go. Probably post a review or see how the actual driving feels versus stock after I get a good old alignment. Thanks for watching.